So I don't know if y'all know what I know. All right. This is going to be my review for The Reading, which is on BET Plus. And I'm have a question. Is Monique on the decline? Okay. So we're going to first start off with talking about that Netflix special. Now, mind you, The Reading came out before the Netflix special. Okay. But looking at how bad the Netflix special was and how people were talking about it, watch my other video just so you know how I felt about it. It just was not good. It wasn't the performance that she should have had. I really feel like it's becoming a decline, and already we don't even see enough of Monique. But let's see what's going on. So let's get into my review of The Reading. Okay. So one movie actually started out pretty good. Here's the entire premise. You have Monique, who had 2 kids and a husband. Okay. They're all at the house. She's in the kitchen doing what she's doing. Everyone else is in their own separate room. You have 4 people who come in, and one kills the husband, one kills the daughter, and one kills the other kid. Okay. I think it was a daughter as well. All right. So now you got 3 people dead, and one brutally beats Monique up. And you see a scene where they get like the chair and they like go like boop and they boom to her. So then you then cut towards like a year later, and she's talking like this, and she could barely get her words out. I was like, oh my God, they really messed you up. But as everyone does, they gotta monetize the trauma, of course. Not hating on them, but they gotta do what they gotta do to make that money. Okay. So she writes a book. And she has her publicist and all the other stuff, and her sales are pretty good. Her publicist is like, okay, let's have a psychic, hence the name The Reading. Okay, so it was like, okay, well, let's get one, and pretty much let's try to promote these books a little bit more by having this, add a little bit more, you know what I mean. So it was like, okay, cool. So she has it. She has The Reading. She brings these people over, and mind you, it is 4 people. You have 3 black people, 1 white person. One of them is an actual psychic. She's not a quack. You have the other person, which is her homegirl, and she is like the medical person, make sure that her vitals and everything is okay. Then you got the boyfriend, which is Captain Useless. Then there's a white boy, and he is the cameraman. Okay, so that's the group, and they're gonna be getting paid $50,000 total to do this. You see that her mom, the psychic's mom, before we even get back to Monique, you see that the psychic's mom is struggling, putting her through medical school, and essentially she's having dudes come in and have sex with her so that she could pay these bills and all that kind of stuff. Okay. But the mom is like, I need you to get your education, essentially, so I don't have to do this anymore. But I need you to get your education. But that's also why the daughter is doing these psychic readings, because she doesn't want her mom doing that kind of stuff anymore. She's like, I don't want you having to sell your body for me. So she sends her money. So their motivating factor was like, okay, if I could do this, then my mom doesn't have to do that. And I could still make my money, go to medical school, whatever, and take care of my mom as well. So that was why she was like, you know what? I'll do it. Because she was like, the psychics, the ghosts and the spirits, they were just becoming too much. But she was like, let's push it just for this last one for a while. Okay. So that's essentially what happens. And then we're going to cut to the psychic and her team, and to Monique and her publicist lady. And then this is when the reading begins. And then it's like, ooh, sinister stuff that may happen. All right. So there will be spoilers in this review just because I got to do it. Okay. But what I will say, before I even get into any kind of spoiler discussions, I will give this I feel like I want to give it a 7 out of 10. Okay. Just because it started very well, and you get some cheesy stuff, and I'm like, but some of it was a little too cheesy. Had to knock it down 3 stars for me. Okay. But so far, I would say I would give it about a 7 out of 10, which isn't bad, but it isn't, it's no Get Out. You know what I mean? You're not getting one of those kind of movies, but you're going to get a nice little cheesy kind of horror, kind of horror thriller kind of movie, so that's what I would say. I'm going to get into the spoiler part of it. Okay. You have Monique here with her lady, And then you got the homegirl, the psychic with her home people, right? So it's like, okay, cool. Everyone's, doing it. She does the little psychic reading and she starts saying certain things that only Monique would know. Only her character would know. So then Monique is like, "Oh, okay. This is too much for me. I break." So it was like, "Okay, well, you go take a break or whatever." And then Monique comes back. All right. Everyone's like, "Okay, everything's good. All right. Let's finish the reading." And then you start seeing just the psychic. She's like, doing all the crazy stuff. And then she starts saying certain things that Monique wouldn't know, like the daughter's last words and this and that and a third and stuff like that. Right. So then it cuts to this is the end of the reading. And you got the main chick. Her name is Sky in here. So you got Sky and she's like this. She's looking all scared and it's like, well, what's wrong with you? Well, I mean, I get that, you did your psychic thing, but why are you doing all that? And then Monique disappears and then everyone else is like, yo, I think she's locked in the house or something. And it's like, what's going on? And then Monique, you hear, and then Monique, she locked all the doors. She had like some security system. She locked everything. Okay. And then you got Captain Useless, the boyfriend, Gregory. Captain Useless gets up and then he's like, oh, and then he gets shot. And he's like, oh. And then I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And then you see Monique. She gets up and she's like, in perfect English, she's like, now tell him what you saw and why I did this. So you're like, oh, she's not stuttering anymore. What's going on? What's happening? And then the girl, she's like, whatever. And I think she even finally tells him, because Sky was getting on my nerves. So she finally goes and says, like, she killed him. She's like, yeah, I killed them all. I killed my kids and I killed my husband. Then she has the guns, like a revolver, should be 6 rounds in it. And she already wasted a bullet on him. And mind you, Captain Useless, he gets up and he's doing his little thing. Mind you, he got shot like somewhere over here. So it's like, okay, you have a lot of energy for someone who just got shot, but whatever. She ends up shooting her publicist or whatever. You got just Dum what's her name? Dum Jessie. She over here hiding in cabinets and doing all this I'm like, you got white boy Rick over here. What's his name? Randy. He over here messing around. And I'm like, come on, man, just turn a corner. I mean, what are we doing? You know what I mean? I'm like, how you not hear Monique? And then I'm like, okay. So she ends up getting her, whatever. The boyfriend, he ends up getting got. So now you got the two black chicks, Sky, Jessie, and obviously Monique, who plays Emma. So you got them or whatever. And they're so dumb. They are so dumb. There's a scene with the dang mailman. They're trying to get their attention. And then when he finally looks at them, they're like this, looking at something else. I was like, this is a comedy, y'all. Okay, this is a horror comedy then. Okay, this is a horror comedy because this is not a regular horror film. This is not a thriller. This is a horror comedy because this is just comedic what these people are doing. It's so bad. Then there's this one. Now, Monique, she ran out of bullets. Okay. Oh, but there's always that one bullet. But she ran out of bullets for this part. And she's like, you know what? I like a knife. Oh, I need a knife. So she has a knife. And these two, and she's just hanging out downstairs. She's like, because she was like this. She was running this whole time, right? It's a Scooby-Doo house up in here. So she finally is like, you know what? I'm not going to run anymore. I'm going to wait till they come here. She was like, well, this is the only area in the entire house that got signal, even though no one would have known that because no one was even checking for that. No one even had their phone out. One. And how was that even possible? Because we seen her daughter earlier with the dang phone sending messages. But okay, sure, whatever, fine. All right. So she's doing that or whatever. She's down there Now, there's only one entrance up to the stairs. Okay. And she's at the bottom of the stairs. So Monique's at the bottom and they're up there in the banister. This is a big house. All right. So she's up there, whatnot. And you got Sky and Jesse. Their big plan was like, you know what, girl, we ain't gonna die. 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 And they doing all that. And I'm like, okay, can we just, come on. They're having these, they're stopping the movie to have these little speeches. I'm like, come on, let's just keep it going. So then you have Jessie. Her big plan is, hey, she has a knife and it's a big knife, y'all. So what I gotta do, let's put some layers here. Let me, like this right here, this is a layer over me. So when she stabs me with the knife, it'll take a while before it could get through my body because I got this on. I'm like, what? That's stupid. No, it's going to take about this. It's going to take the same amount. You can put a knife through this right now. So they go in the closet, put on someone's clothes because Monique is much bigger. These girls are toothpicks. So Monique is much bigger than the other two. So I don't know whose clothes these are. And the kids are too young and the dad. So I don't know where they got these clothes from, but whatever. So they put all this stuff on. And then Jessie, she ends up getting herself stabbed. Meanwhile, Sky's like, and I'm like, girl, this is your homegirl. You ain't gonna do anything. You ain't gonna stomp her or something. You just gonna. I'm like, girl, get up. You girl. And then she ends up killing Jessie. I'm like, okay. So then now we got Sky is the last one. And she ends up, because I told you that there's that one bullet. There's always that one bullet. She ends up finally shooting Monique. Oh, God. But before she even gets to that, she hides in one room. And she's looking down. And she sees. So here's a bed. Sky's on this side. And she sees under the bed that there is a bullet, and she's like, oh my God, I'm gonna go over there. So any logical person would be like, okay, the bed's here and it's just under there. I could just reach my arm under and I could just grab it, right? Cool. Okay. Or if I need to move up just a little bit more, I can move up maybe a foot and then grab the bullet from under the bed, right? Tell me why this girl hops over the bed, doing a tiptoe, over the bed to the other side, then goes under and gets the bullet when she could have just reached her hand out and got it. So I was like, okay. And then she finally shoots Monique, whatever. And then it goes, I was like, okay, I don't know what all this was about, why we did all of this, but whatever, yo. So that's the end of it. So this is something that I kind of thought about in terms of, is Monique on the decline? Is Hollywood, the entertainment industry, are they trying to fudge with her anymore? Because I'm like, okay, this was supposed to be this. The reason why this was so hyped up is because she had the falling out with Lee Daniels and whatnot over the whole Netflix, and you know she's getting underpaid and all that kind of other stuff. And then it's like, okay, this movie is, you know, it's associated with him and whatever the way is, and it's like, oh wow, so this is your comeback. And then you see this, and it's like, this ain't good, y'all. This ain't good. I mean, what do you know, like I said, it's a 7 out of 10 if you want a cheesy, you know, because I like my little cheesy movies, you know, from times. I love Lifetime, so, you know, here's this. But just because I like watching Lifetime doesn't mean it's good. I mean, it's there. Most of the movies are the same. You know, this had a nice little twist, but I'm like, y'all just acting dumb. Okay, this is like Lifetime dumb right here. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm not really understanding. And it's like, do y'all think that maybe, I mean, just think about it. Could she be in decline? We see her Netflix special that bombed. This movie, I mean, most people didn't even know it was even coming out. I mean, who has BET Plus? Let's be real. Besides the free subscription that you get for that month, and then you gotta cancel, gotta hurry it up. Besides that, I mean, who really is dealing with that, you know? And it's like, okay, this is supposed to be like the movie, Lee Daniels, ooh. And it's like, yeah, but this movie was trash. I mean, it wasn't trash. It was 7 out of 10 for me. But for your average person, they would probably give it like a 5. So it's like, it's not really that good. It's not really that bad. It's just like they're not giving her a good role, so it makes me wonder, will her next movie be good, or is it going to be something like this? I'm just really curious about what they're going to do. But that's my opinion, and I'm gonna stick to what I said.